Around 9 months ago, Annie Letterman shared the now famous truck walk story that caused a huge ripple effect throughout the comedy podcast scene and actually gave us great, timeless content. And the whole incident was very entertaining. And well, Annie Letterman once again is not holding back and has taken shots at two different comics. Obviously, they didn't drop names, but if you've been following this whole thing for the past months, we know who the first one is, but not too sure about the second one. So I thought it would be fun to take a look at what she said, quickly revisit the truck walk incident, and try to figure out who she was talking about. And before we continue, real quick, if you can do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button. It helps out a ton. And we are trying to get to 20,000 subscribers. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
So I was so pissed that I had just so blatantly said I didn't want it, and then he did it. It was such a violation that I screen grabbed pic and I posted it on his Facebook wall with his name, sending it to me, and he freaked out. For some reason, he had Kurt's phone number or got Kurt's number, and then he's on the phone and Kurt's like talking, and he's like, I'm a teacher, like how could you do this? And I was like, can you explain to him that the incident started with him? And all of our issues with men that we've had on this podcast, let's remember the issue started with you doing a thing, okay? Our reactions to it cannot be something that we're in trouble for. You do a thing, there are consequences. It's these guys where it's like, how could you do this to me? You started it. You sent the picture or the DM or the request or whatever. You started it. You did the bad thing. We reacted to it. Okay? We're allowed to react. We're full humans that are allowed to have experiences and talk about them if we want. And we don't have to leave names out. We can actually say the names if we want.
Ooh, bring names back 2022.
Essentially, Annie Letterman was telling the story of how she exposed the guy that was sending her inappropriate pictures and then segued into talking about how the men that they've been having or that they've had drama with had all been started by the men, approaching them or starting the interaction, which it's a fair point. Obviously, we know who she's talking about in this situation. And I don't think she is wrong because it all comes down to free speech. And technically, she can say anything about anybody and even drop their names and she wouldn't be doing anything wrong. But at the same time, she can't be upset or be surprised when people come after her for, technically exposing them on their show. Now, keep in mind that the truck walk incident and Brendan Schaub DMing Khalyla happened 3+ years ago. So I think bringing it up now in the way that they did, after, it was already hashed out, after Brendan Schaub had already apologized and all of that, I think it's a little bit of a low blow.
But then also, so apologize for that. We've talked about it before. Trust me, I've been to therapy over this stuff. That's also another reason I'm on social media, so I don't engage in any of that stuff. So I've learned from that. As far as the Annie stuff goes, that's where I do have to defend myself.
And now it sounds like they are taking no responsibility for what they did, because don't get me wrong, Brendan Schaub is completely in the wrong here, and he made a mistake for obviously thinking that he could hit on Khalyla and Annie and that they wouldn't expose him. But to say what was said about Brendan Schaub on the show, I think it's a little bit much, and I don't think it's that nice.
I had a guy that was like, why don't you walk me to my truck, this married guy, where I'm like, and we know him, I'm not going to say who it is, but he's like, why don't you give me a walk, you should walk me to my truck. I'm like, so what, I can know you? Like, what?
Wait,
like,
who was it? Oh.
But it's just like, it's like, why would I?
Wait, I love that we have the same people that...
Yes, the same ones come for
want
us.
us to walk for you. He came for me so hard, and we know his chick.
And like, how do you watch her?
On New Year's Eve, while he was having dinner with his family, he was like, what are you doing tonight?
This year?
Maybe 3 years ago. And for me, that story that I told took place 7 years ago, long time ago.
You're referring to DMs.
Right.
We walked to my car. I finished my spot being very good at comedy. You not being good at comedy. And then
That's a clue.
By the way, I don't want to be seen with you.
That's the biggest clue you could ever give.
And so you're not good at comedy. And then you want me to walk you to your car
I know. I'm just so traumatized by, even when you say his name, just like years of... And I still have the receipts, and one day I'm going to just submit it to Dumois. One day.
Once again, we now know that they are obviously talking about Brendan Schaub. And here's the thing. The truck walk incident, the story, is not what caused this whole drama. It's not, because that story in itself is not that bad. Brendan Schaub asking Annie to walk him to his truck. It's a funny story, but it's not that bad. What sparked this whole incident was the fact that Khalyla was basically telling everybody how bad of a person Brendan Schaub was. Which, again, it's a tricky situation because it happened, 3+ years ago. And technically, Brendan Schaub admitted that he had a problem and he apologized for, and he was working on that, and he had changed. But also the fact that other YouTubers were making videos with crazy titles like, Annie or Khalyla confirmed that Brendan Schaub tried cheating on his wife. And then, that did not help the situation at all. Sadly, I was not on YouTube when that happened. I was a little bit too late for that. And that would have been great, honestly.
Okay, so on January 25th, a Trash Tuesday episode is released where Annie and I talk about a nameless comic who hit on us. And for me, that story that I told took place 7 years ago, long time ago.
And you're referring to DMs.
Right.
Which I own and was completely stupid never should have done.
Okay.
Now,
right.
I'll defend myself. Like, I own that. And that was not right. And I've definitely changed.
And you apologized.
And I apologized way before then.
Yeah.
But then also, hold on, Khalyla, real quick. But then also, so apologize for that. We've talked about it before. Trust me, I've been to therapy over this stuff. That's also another reason I'm on social media. So I don't engage in any of that stuff. So I've learned from that. As far as the Annie stuff goes, that's where I do have to defend myself.
Okay.
I have to, you guys didn't say my name. If that's how she feels, she's validated to feel like that. And I'm telling you, that never happened.
Now, here's my opinion. I don't believe either of them are on the wrong here. If I was Brendan Schaub, I would never speak to any of them ever again. I would have not have done that Tiger Belly episode. Instead, I would have just done a response video on my channel, control everything that I can, and keep the monetization. Because keep in mind, that Brendan Schaub episode in only 5 months on the Tiger Belly channel has already over 2 million views, which is insane. And that's a lot of ad revenue. You do have to give some respect to Brendan Schaub for actually going to Bobby's house by himself. I mean, you got to respect that, but it was not a smart move at all. It's not a smart move because you're going in there by yourself, no notes, and you're going to debate and try to defend yourself against 3 people, which, 2 of them have a computer in front of them. And Khalyla clearly had a timeline with all the events that she wanted to cover. So again, it's not the smartest move. But if I was Schaub when that happened, I would have for sure taken advantage and asked Khalyla or them some tough questions. For example, is the Tiger Belly crew, or Khalyla or Gilbert, whatever the other guy's name is, are any of them in contact with the people that moderate the Tiger Belly subreddits? Are they in contact with them? Do they have any influence on that? Has Khalyla ever been on Reddit? Has she ever been on the Fighter and the Kid subreddit? Because according to a tweet that they just did not too long ago, the Tiger Belly crew does not use Reddit, which I don't know. I find that very hard to believe. For many reasons. I also understand where Khalyla and Annie are coming from. If I was them in their position, Brendan Schaub is an easy target to go after. He's not the greatest person ever, and he has a now massive subreddit that, if you please, it can help you grow your audience. And at the end of the day, Brendan Schaub made the mistake, and it's not their job to try and, save his reputation and protect him and whatever. It's not their job, so who cares?
It was really fun going on the road with Annie. I've just started going on the road with people have been taking me. Annie's the first female to take me, and that was exciting for me. And yeah, it was really fun.
I didn't make her suck my dick or anything.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I was like, come here, kid, suck my You want an extra few minutes? Put this in your mouth. Come on me. Oh, But I'm just kidding. I am just kidding, actually. The people should get on the right promise. I'm just kidding. It's not unheard of.
It's not.
Did you ever anyone first? Did you ever get...
Now, this last part is very interesting, but I didn't have a lot of information to go off of. It was just a simple joke from Annie. So just to be fair, it was a joke. but she did a loud, deep voice impression, and it leads me to think that it was about one person, that has had accusations against him for asking female comics to him if they want extra stage time. Which, if that's the case, it's a funny joke. I gotta give it to her. But I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't think this will cause anything at all, because that other person, I think, has a lot more to lose than Annie in this situation. But yeah, what do you guys think? If you made it this far, once again, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to 20,000 subscribers. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Again, we will be uploading at least every other day or every 3 days here in the channel. Dislike if you didn't like the video, but that is all we have for today. See ya.